The Spotlight, shining a light on podcasts and videos that have caught our attention.
Hi, and welcome to The Spotlight. I'm Jen Spiker, and today I'm highlighting a podcast series recently added to the Vision app. Faith, Life, Sport is a series of interviews produced by Graham Burrell. Like many Aussies, Graham has a passion for sport and loves to share the stories and testimonies of Christians in sports from around the world. Last time we heard some of Graham's conversation with dual international footy player Brad Thorn, including how Brad came to surrender his life to Christ. Today we'll hear more of this conversation, including how Brad's father played a key role in his decision to switch codes. But first, we'll share the oranges around because it's half time.
The Spotlight with Jen Spiker.
Well, it's half time on the FLS podcast, and what we love to do here is to stop down and ask our guests a whole bunch of fun, quick questions. My special guest today is former rugby league and rugby union player Brad Thorn. Okay, Brad, here's your first question. Who was your toughest opponent, and then also the one that you didn't fancy facing?
Probably both. Paul Harrigan, the Chief.
Okay.
He could bash you with his hands or with his shoulder.
Your favourite ground to play at?
League, Suncorp, Union, probably Eden Park.
Okay. When you were on tour, who was the messiest roommate you had? If you can name them.
I'll throw Jason Stevens in there.
You might have mentioned this in the early part of the interview, but a sport other than league and union that you're good at?
Yeah, I played AFL, so I enjoyed that, yeah.
I'm coming over for dinner at your place. What are you cooking?
Steak, mashed potato.
Sounds good. I'll be there.
Yeah, mushroom sauce, yeah, steak and 3 veg.
Sounds good. Sounds nice. Your favourite movie?
Oh, I loved Star Wars when I was a kid. So Star Wars, one of the 3, I love Darth Vader.
Yeah, okay. Now, over your career, you wore a lot of different jerseys, whether it be in league or union. Did you have a favourite one or maybe a favourite design of jersey that you liked wearing?
I love the Bronco original one that I wore. And I liked the Crusader jersey. We had like a sword down the front. There's different designs. The All Black jersey's pretty good.
The most famous sports person you've met?
I was pretty impressed when I met Steve Waugh. That was cool. Yeah, I met the Queen.
Oh.
Did she play croquet? Something? Sportswoman.
Tell us briefly, was that obviously on an All Blacks tour?
Yeah, we got told how to talk to her, which was, you have to say, mum. It's not like ma'am, it's mum. So, yeah, she was tiny and I'm quite tall, so it was, I bent down and said, hello, mum, oh, ma'am. It was a good chat.
Good chat.
Nice lady. Passed away now.
At the footy, when you're going to have something to eat, is it a pie or a hot dog?
Ooh, I'll go pie.
Your best subject at school?
Best subject at school? Maybe art. I used to like writing stories too.
Okay.
Maybe art.
Art. And finally, the player you really enjoyed playing with throughout your career, whether it be league or union?
Oh, so many. I'll say Petra.
Well, thanks for that, Brad. It's time now to get back out on the field for the second half of today's chat. My special guest here on the FLS podcast is former rugby union and rugby league player Brad Thorn. So, Brad, you talked about, obviously, then you talked on going back and playing rugby union in New Zealand for the Broncos. You win that 2000 premiership. I think you beat the Sydney Roosters. Then the early 2000s, you make the jump, I suppose for you, back into rugby union. How did that all come about? And then that led you on the path several years later to play for the All Blacks and win a World Cup.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. I always, when I was a kid, I used to dream. I was a dreamer, I used to sit down the side of my house with my dog. I've always loved dogs, and used to just dream big, but the way it played out, even I couldn't have dreamed how it all played out. Could have won a World Cup and all this sort of stuff. So, but yeah, when Dad, this brings it back to Dad. I said he was a very big influence in my life, and my mum as well. Huge love my mum as well. But when Dad was alive, it was like around 1992, 93. There was word around rugby going professional. Just remember it was amateur, so you couldn't do what I did. It didn't exist. Because you couldn't go from a professional to amateur. But then, Dad, I remember Dad saying, because we'd be watching Test match, watching the All Blacks and World Cups and all that sort of stuff. And my whole life I go to Test matches at Ballymore when I was 13 or whatever. And he said, if the game goes professional, maybe if you do some stuff with your league, maybe you can go back and have a crack. And, so that was, and I thought about that, and I thought, And then the game did go professional, the Super Rugby in 96, I think, whatever. And I think for me, being at the Broncos, you said that 2000 grand final. So by the, age of 25, I'd got to, be part of Origin. I've got to play for Australia, and we'd won 3 grand finals, 97, 98, 2000. So, and I had 7 years there. So a fair bit had been happened there. You're pretty happy with that in your career. You know what I mean? If that hadn't happened like that, and we hadn't won any grand finals or anything, maybe I'd stay in league longer, and you're chasing that sort of. But some stuff had been done there. It felt like it given good service to the Broncos. And I'd seen guys like John Kirwan and different guys come across the league, but they'd done it at the end of their career, and I wanted to go in my prime. I was gonna pursue this. I want to go at my best. And at the end of that 3-year contract I talked about earlier, was when I was 25, and I decided to head back. And Wayne actually, I was looking to go back to the Otago, where I come from, where my relations are, but Steve Hansen had met Wayne Bennett and come across and checked out the Broncos, and Wayne said, why don't you have a chat to those guys? So he actually assisted me. Once they realised, they thought I was holding out. I said, I'm not holding out. I'm going back. I'm going back to seek this, this is a personal goal. Obviously, my father passing, no one in our family, no relations ever been an All Black or anything. You have these All Blacks, their granddad was nothing, and to go back and achieve this dream. And so I went back. I talked to the Crusaders. I found them very professional, met Robbie Deans. They were co-coaching, those two, and Steve Hansen. I went back, and I did a year there. And I played sevens to start with, just to get a feel for the game. It's funny, we won the grand final in 2000, the Roosters, and we played in front of 94,000 people. And the stadium was ready for the Olympics, the 2000 Olympics. The season finished early because of that. So they gave me time to go over. They wanted me to get over straight away to start learning some rugby. I just want to have a break, But 2,000 people. I remember I did a tackle on Matt Singh, and 94,000. And we got a try, whatever. And then 2 weeks later, I'm in New Zealand, and I've got this game. They've got this game on, a country versus city, where they just put me in like a club rugby type go. There's a guy mowing the sidelines. With a mower, not with a ride-on, like a mower doing the sideline, so at least we knew where the lines were. I go, I need to strap my thumbs and that. And they said, we don't have a strapper, but the other team does. So I had to go into the other teams. I'm there with the other team, getting my thumbs strapped by, some young guy trying his best. I'm used to, my Broncos guy, guys that strap us and stuff. And I go out and play rugby in front of on this flat ground that could have just been a park, and there weren't that many people there. And I had serious thoughts, what the heck am I doing?
Such a contrast from 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I was top of my game, in my prime, playing in a grand final, 94,000. That's my biggest crowd. Only match when I played in Soweto, Nelson Mandela Stadium against the Springboks. They had 94,000. That's the two biggest. That's a big crowd. To then have that contrast, you think you're asking a few questions, aren't you? And then I go out there and battle away, trying to learn a game I don't, even though I've watched it and that, it's a completely different game. So you got league, it's this game where, two components, the defence and the attack, and obviously it's a kicking game, whatever, but rugby, there's a simplicity to league, which is great, and there's obviously tactical and stuff to league, but there's a simplicity in comparison to rugby. Rugby's like, if you look at rugby union, it's like if you go to the Olympics, it's the decathlon. It's, you got high jump and you got the 400 metres and then they do the 100 metre sprint and they might do the sport and then they do this. So rugby is exactly the same. It's like, so the scrum, you don't have that in league where you got 16 guys. It's like a max squat where you can't even breathe, and there you're pushing that hard. You've got lineouts where guys throw you in the air and you completely different skill set. You've got kickoffs where you get fullbacks who will catch a high ball, but kickoffs, you get lifted by two guys, sort of like the lineout.
Yeah.
You got some guy puts up a big drop kick in the wind and that, and you've got to work out where the ball's going to be about 5 meters in the air, and catch it not on your chest with your hands above your head. You've got the breakdown, which is all about body height, and it's like a mess. For me when I went there, it's like a mess. Over time, I could see who I'm trying to hit and what I'm trying to do. But initially, obviously you got your carrying and your ball running and your tackling. That was fine. I could do that. But there's the rolling more, completely different, nothing like in the league. So there's all these skills that I had to learn, and basically a 15-year-old knew more than I did. And it was a pretty humbling time. I had to do a lot of listening and learning, and probably halfway through that year, I was like, I had 3 questions. Do I like rugby? Am I any good at it? Do I like living in New Zealand? All 3, no.
On the Spotlight, we've been listening to Christian footballer Brad Thorn share his journey of switching codes from rugby league to union. What an amazing contrast to go from winning an NRL grand final to playing club rugby in a tiny rural town a few weeks later. We'll hear more of Brad Thorn's story next time on The Spotlight, but you can listen to this and other interviews like it by tapping the podcast tab in the Vision app and searching for Faith, Life, Sport. My name is Jen Spiker. Join me next time as we hear how Brad Thorn has grown in his faith while living in different parts of the world.
For more great podcasts and videos like the one featured today, check out vision.org.au or the free Vision app.